after reports emerged suggesting that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will travel to Russia later this month to meet the Russian President Vladimir Putin, and amid strong speculation that North Korea could in fact sell arms to Russia to bolster the latter's war effort in Ukraine, the United States has issued a stern warning. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has said North Korea will pay a price and face consequences in the international community for its role in aiding Russia. Well, this shouldn't really come as a surprise to anyone. Shri, we'll discuss this with you in just a moment, but before that, let's listen in.
In terms of the reports about a potential meeting between the North Korean leader and President Putin, I don't have anything specific to provide in terms of a potential meeting, nor am I going to speculate on when such a meeting could occur. You have heard the White House talk about the fact that Kim Jong-un is seeking to continue diplomatic engagement with Russia as a follow-on to the Russian defense minister's recent visit, where Russia is seeking to purchase artillery ammunition from the DPRK. As I highlighted last week, such a sale would violate multiple United Nations Security Council resolutions, and it would prolong the unnecessary suffering of Ukrainian civilians who are impacted by Russia's war of aggression in Ukraine. So again, from a U.S. government standpoint, we would call on North Korea to refrain from selling ammunition and arms to Russia, which would unnecessarily prolong this conflict.
Okay, let's go back to Shri for more on this. Shri, this doesn't really come as a surprise. The United States issuing this warning, saying North Korea will pay a price and there'll be consequences if it does in fact supply arms to Russia amid the ongoing Ukraine war. But the bigger question is, are we really going to see Kim Jong-un traveling to Russia, meeting the Russian president? Are we really going to see such an arms deal going through? Isn't that a million-dollar question at the moment?
So, Neha, the probability is very high. And in fact, it may happen between the 10th and 13th of September when there's an economic meeting that's taking place, in Russia. So he will be traveling for that. And the chances are very high that some sort of a deal on the ammunition arms front may also be done, because let's not forget that, in June this year, June or July this year, the Russian defense minister actually, traveled to North Korea, and that has not happened in a very, very long time as far as Russia is concerned. So what's happening is North Korea has been a pariah for a very long time. Now, Russia, because of its own global sanctions and the fact that it's fighting a war, it's running out of ammunition. It has been sourcing, as we now know, ammunition from North Korea, especially shells aimed at tanks. And this is despite a UN resolution banning North Korea from supplying any arms to any country. And incidentally, Russia is a signatory to that resolution. So this is already a violation of the UN, agreement. Now, what is the reason that Kim Jong-un is grabbing this opportunity with both hands? Obviously, because it gives him a slightly more, importance in the global framework. He was neglected, lying in a corner. He runs a small country, impoverished country with $24 billion of GDP. Now suddenly he gets face time with Putin, where he can start negotiating what his country wants in return, which would obviously be a lot of aid and food and other help, investment, but also what his pet project has been in terms of nuclear capability. So he has been playing around with nuclear missiles. He launches one and tests, one every now and then as a show of strength. But he lacks some critical technology which would enable him to fulfill his dream of sending, nuclear missiles from his continent to, let's say, the US, which has been his dream. So if Russia is able to provide that sort of technology, then it could be a different kind of a world that we're looking at. So for the sake of that, I hope it doesn't go that far. But the fact remains that right now, Russia does need ammunition to continue its, war against Ukraine, because it's fast depleting its own supply. And North Korea, incidentally, has the kind of shells which can work with Russia's existing hardware, defense hardware. So that is very convenient for Russia. Russia also needs people to now someone to buy its own grains and oil. So that is another thing Russia could sell. So this could be a win-win. But I hope, for the sake of this war, that Mr. Putin stops short of selling some sort of critical nuclear technology to North Korea, because then we're looking at a very different kind of a world, Neha, because Kim Jong-un is unfortunately a loose cannonball and very unpredictable. And with very little loose, you never know how he's going to behave. If he's truly nuclear armed and has the capability to launch a missile at, let's say, South Korea or the US.